As we head inland to Marrakesh, thoughts of the recent earthquake are in the front of our minds. What's clear to see is the amazing positivity and determination of these wonderful people. Whilst some damage can be seen, they've just rallied on with life and the city bustles with a normality. Parked up outside Marrakesh, we meet up with Lucia and Simone from Steps Over, who want to do an episode on leopard for their YouTube channel. We had a lovely time spent with them and a giggle when we cooked pasta dishes for them. Well, they are Italian. It was also lovely to meet up with a large number of other overlanders. Being next to a big city, it meant it was more easy to get hold of parts or trucks or anything else you needed to do any maintenance, and also people were preparing the trucks for travelling south and going on into the desert. And for us, there are a few bits that we'd ordered and got delivered to a collection point in Marrakesh. After more than 20,000 kilometres since we left home, time for a maintenance day and a good check over and tinker with anything mechanical required. Marrakesh is one of Morocco's 4 imperial cities, lying in the centre of the fertile irrigated Ouzoud plain, south of the Sift River. A symbol of the city and visible for miles is the Moorish minaret of the 12th century Krdum mosque. Surrounded by a vast palm grove, the Medina in Marrakesh is called the Red City. This is because the buildings and ramparts are made of beaten clay, and these were built during the residence of the Almohads. It's a major economic centre and home to mosques, palaces and beautiful intimate gardens. The Medina is densely packed, walled medieval city dating back to the Berber Empire, with maze-like alleyways whilst thriving souks sell traditional textiles, pottery and jewellery. The Jamal en Fana is Marrakesh's main square, and it's the most important part of the Medina. It's become the symbol of the city and is always full of bustling life. The colours, the smells, the sound are intoxicating and just a beautiful place to be wandering round. The Medina, being the ancient section of the city, was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1985. We'd heard about this little restaurant that's meant to serve the most incredible tagine called the Tagine Bleus in Tamanar, so we definitely couldn't miss out on that. A 2.5-hour drive into the middle of nowhere, and we arrived at this picture-perfect little restaurant. This was going to be gorgeous. How pretty was this little spot, and the views from their roof were just stunning, absolutely lovely, and they were so sweet they allowed us to park up for the night with Leopard outside the restaurant. And the rumours weren't wrong. The tagines were to die for, just delicious, beautiful, really, really tasty. And the hospitality we received from Hassan and Christian was second to none. Just such a lovely couple of guys, really, really sweet. Whilst driving one day, we were climbing some mountains and we spotted a couple of cyclists up ahead. As we came round the bend, we could see one of them waving at us frantically. It was Rob, the Austrian we'd met in Chefchaouen. We couldn't step there right on the mountain, so once we got to the top we stopped and waited for them to buy some coffees for a couple of pairs of weary legs. As we chased along the coastline scenery this time, the sight of the white sands, deep blue sea and skies were an absolute delight to see. As we leave the main city areas and coastlines behind, we then turn and head towards the Atlas Mountains, and this is something that we've been so looking forward to. There are always many different myths and ideas of where names came about. One of my favourites though is for the Atlas Mountains. It was the ancient Greek poet Ouzoud who wrote about Atlas, a titan who was condemned to stand at the end of the earth and hold up the celestial heavens for eternity. This myth became commonly identified with the Atlas Mountains, and it's how they came about their name. One site that was on our checklist to see was the Ouzoud Waterfalls, and we found an incredible, beautiful little spot to park up with a fabulous walk to the waterfalls.
Wonderful! Beautiful!
The Ouzoud Falls is a collective name for several waterfalls that empty into the El Abid River's gorge. The biggest and most impressive waterfall in Morocco is 350 foot tall and in 3 sections, and has a massive flow of water practically all year round from the river it gets its name from, making for a stunning show of sights and sounds. The path down to the falls is so lovely, with Barbary monkeys that roam freely. Interesting, once you're on the path, you're surrounded by so much beautiful lush vegetation, it's actually hard to see where the waterfalls are. You can hear them though. Olive trees are everywhere, and with the name of the river and the waterfalls, Ouzoud means olive trees in Berber. At the foot of the majestic falls there is a lake that the falls flow into, with little boats along the shores of the lake. We love nothing more than driving around in a leopard and beautiful amongst the mountains, and as we travel around we constantly receive such a positive response from the Moroccans. With beeping horns and waves, it makes you feel so welcome in the country. But nothing warms your heart more than to see children waving, shouting, "Hello, welcome," and loving leopard beeping her horn for them. The 3 Atlas mountain ranges that cross much of contemporary Morocco, the middle in the north, the High Atlas in central Morocco and the Anti-Atlas in the south along the Atlantic coast, form both a natural boundary and a rich natural environment. Stretching from the extreme southwest of the country to the northeast coast, they form a major part of the region's landscape and as such have affected settlement patterns, trade routes and environmental relationships. Strung diagonally across Morocco, the 3 ranges trap incoming vents of air and precipitation off the Atlantic coast, forcing them northward down towards the Mediterranean coast. As a result, the northern slopes of the mountains have a more humid, temperate environment, while the southern slopes are arid and have a harsher climate. Traversing the Atlas most often requires going through one of 2 passes: the southern pass through the High Atlas between Marrakesh and Ouzoud, or the northern pass over the Middle Atlas between Saint-Gilles and Fez. Controlling either of these routes, or ideally both of them, secured the access to the lucrative gold and salt trading between the Mediterranean and the sub-Saharan Africa. Driving towards Ziz Gorge, we pass a sign that says maximum height 3.5 metres. We're 4 metres. Do we or don't we go for it? We tuck in behind a straw wagon who's not much different in height to us, so he can go first. Quite ominously, there's a lot of people with cameras on the sides of the tunnel waiting to see somebody who doesn't quite make it. We follow him through, he's losing straw everywhere, but we all both make it through absolutely fine. The Ziz Gorge with its orange and pink cliffs is a stunning setting, with a road that winds in a snaking fashion following the twists and turns of the Ziz River, with towering cliffs and orange clay that rise up on either side as the sun sets. It's absolutely picturesque. We wake to watch the sun come up and glow red over the rock face, and head off for a lovely morning walk along the dry riverbed. At this time of year there should be a river flowing through this gorge, but at the moment there are just small pools. They've had very, very little rain here for the last 3 years. It's always lovely to meet up with Overlanders, spend a bit of time, share a meal and a few drinks with them. But it was time for us to leave, and Sylvian, the French guy we got to know, and his dog and his truck called Nomad, was going the opposite direction. So we both waved bye-bye as we left. Starting just south of the Middle Atlas, about 30k north of Errachidia, the tremendous Ziz Gorges provides a rocky passage south through a Tunnel du Millionnaire. To the south the valley widens, presenting a spectacular sight, a dense canopy of palms wedged between ancient striated glyphs which date to the Jurassic period. We stopped over in a little town called Errachidia and got to know Halim, who was a guy who worked on one of the giant plantations. Still jumping on dates we'd collected from him, Halim then wanted to show us around his village and pick some vegetables en route for a tagine for the evening.
This is the wife, yeah, and this is the children.
Ah, that's the pretty one, you see. That's the pretty one.
And the wife, yeah, the wife, they give, the husband they give a wife a poodle.
Ah, the pollen. The pollen.
Yeah.
So you put there. All around the base of the palms they plant vegetables. In the shade of the palms the vegetables grow and don't get baked by the hot sunshine. And when they irrigate and water, they form a dense surface which helps to serve both the plants and vegetation, stop the water being evaporated too quickly.
The
This wonderful old man we met, Hamel explained that he was 100 years old. He still took a walk every morning, had 2 glasses of his olive oil, definitely something from the Fountain of Youth. But it does make you think. The food they're eating is clean, preservative-free, very simple, very healthy. Seems to help with the longevity. Hamel showed us the grinding wheel for their olive oil. Everybody brings their olives here, grind it down, and the oil is shared throughout the village.
Oh my God!
These are the new properties that Hamel explained have been built in the last 10 plus years to bring villagers a little bit more of a better standard of living, because up until then they lived further up on the hill in very, very different circumstances. Oh, look at this! Oh gosh, this is stunning. Oh, so this is where all the villagers originally lived. And now they've built new houses that we've just walked through. Look at this. This was the entrance to their village.
Here, the old man. Yeah. Pray here, pray. Ah, yeah. And then we finish it. This is small house.
Yeah.
And it was just the small house.
Just one room?
Small. The family have 7, 8 person.
In one room?
In this one. Living here, eating here, sleeping here. All.
Wow. Look at this. Fascinating. In the water, in the well.
The well.
In the well. Ah. Fantastic.
All the people, they get water here.
So everybody comes here.
People can live here.
Yep, all come to the same place. Bonjour. Bonjour, gorgeous. Sit down. Ah.
Touch it. Because
it's very cold.
Because
From the mountain spring.
Yes.
Ah, beautiful. Yep, taking the food. The guys are working. We were at Mohammed's home with the family. The villagers kept inviting us in. They were so generous, opening their homes to share everything with others. Such a wonderful view on life and a way to live. We could all take a leaf out of their actions. Is it? But you do it without spilling. Oh, it is so good. Yes, lovely. Oh, the corn. This is the one that's in. Look how quickly that's risen. Zara was just adorable. We had such a giggle and she decided she wanted to dress me up in a wedding outfit. We laughed so much. Well, she's about 1.5 foot taller than me, and dressed in this, she must have looked stunning with the reds, the blues, the whites. But what a giggle we had. Well, we didn't stop laughing. Yeah. Got your wedding outfit on. Yes, your wife will be questioning. Just love these gorgeous guys. They welcomed us into their homes and their lives, and the dates, they were delicious. We've been in contact with Karen for a while, so decided that whilst we're heading south, we'd get together and spend a few days together at her beautiful home. Some of you might recognise her. She was Ben Fogle's New Lives in the Wild series, about her life building a home in Morocco with the help of her friend Yusuf. And then actually this year he'd gone back to see her again to see how she was getting on after COVID and everything. She's an absolutely adorable lady, and she's got this beautiful artist's retreat which is just stunning. Her home was of course off the beaten track, so we had fun off-roading getting to where she lived. And where better to get an amazing view of the sun going down in the desert, up on the roof. Views glorious. We'd promised Karen we'd give her a bit of a treat, and that we'd cook suppers the nights we were there, give her a bit of a break from cooking and doing things for her artists. We had the added bonus of Canadian singer-songwriter Steph Yates there, known as Cots in the music world, who happened to be staying with Karen. We had an amazing time walking in the desert, cooking, chatting the evening away and listening to Steph's music. He says this way. We enjoyed doing a little bit of tracking. We found footprints from the desert fox, the jerboa, which is like a little hopping sort of mouse-like desert rodent, and camels and other tracks. So actually there's so much life going on in these dunes. Karen's home is just lovely. It's warm and homely. So with great food, wine and company, what better way to while away a few days? The morning we were leaving, we were just eating breakfast and we could hear this noise. It sounded like a swarm of wasps coming over the hills. And when we looked out, there was a number of dune buggers that came in past the house and went flying by into the desert.
It's just big enough.
Just big enough. We've been in much tighter. I'm going to show you. In the next episode, we'll be heading deeper into the Sahara, up into the High Atlas, and so much more in between. Plus getting ready to leave Morocco and head a little bit further south into Western Sahara and Mauritania. We'd love you to come and jump on board and join in the next part of our journey. But we thank you so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. Lots of love. Until next time.